Well, good evening. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer, and it's our hyperbaric night. You guys always have so many questions about hyperbarics, and I think it's because probably it's not new, but it's still kind of foreign to a lot of people. And every time Matt and I do this show with hyperbaric treatment and talk about it, people are like, "How's the tank? What's the tank?" But we got some new things coming. We have a Valentine special coming up. So if you guys know people that are dealing with chronic pain, chronic illness, share this on their page right now so they can come on and ask Matt some questions as well. And I'm just going to bring him on. So you have been a busy man today.
Oh man, it's been I guess busy driving. Yes, busy driving.
Because a lot of people don't understand. So they can come to New Leaf Hyperbarics and Wellness Center, but you also rent out the hyperbaric chamber so people can put them in their home. And that's where you were down by Crater Lake doing that for someone today.
Yeah, it was actually in Central Point. We had a lady call us Monday who had been doing some treatments at a clinic over in Idaho. It was a super wellness center. They were doing hyperbarics and herbs and different other things that they did in this clinic over there to help her husband, who had recently had a stroke, and the whole family was getting treatments over there. And they didn't want to stop doing treatments, but they couldn't stay there any longer. They needed to get back home. So they called us on their travels home looking to get one put in their home. And since we don't carry, just have them sitting on the shelf for folks to be able to take home, unfortunately, we ordered her one. But in the meantime, I did have a rental that she could use. So she's renting one for the month until hers comes in. So I went down there this morning, set it up, and actually just got back about 55 minutes ago.
So Matt can do that for you if you're someone who's going through cancer treatment and you don't want to come in every day and get this done. Because a lot of people, including your wife, use this during cancer treatment, and you see amazing results.
Oh yeah. We've taken it to Coos Bay for a lady who was doing cancer treatments. She was coming up here getting vitamin C infusions, but that was like once a week maybe, and she needed to be in the chamber daily is what her naturopath wanted. So we took the chamber there to her house so she could treat every day, and then just came up and got her vitamin C infusions from her doc here in Eugene. And it saves people a lot more money than they actually think ahead of time, because they're thinking that they're going to spend all this money for this machine and have in their home. But when we sit down and do apples to apples with your time and your gas and everything coming in all the time, compared to just having it in your home for the price of the rental, it actually saves money in the long run.
So Matt, for people that don't know, how does hyperbarics work? What is it about it that is so profound?
So in the chamber, you're 11 feet below sea level, and that little bit of pressure on the body allows Henry's law of physics to take over on the oxygen you're breathing while you're in there, because we're also supplementing your oxygen from an oxygen concentrator. So you're breathing 90 to 95% pure oxygen, and that oxygen is able to dissolve into the liquid or the plasma of your body instead of hooking to just the red blood cells because of Henry's law of physics. So we're able to put 4 times the amount of oxygen in your body than what you're able to get, like you and I are getting right now, just breathing in the normal atmosphere.
And so by going in the plasma, that gets faster into it's more effective and more efficient, maybe?
Yeah, it gets 5 times farther into every cell. So when it's hooked into your red blood cells and the hemoglobin, when it goes out to the capillaries, it has to do a whole nother exchange to come out of the hemoglobin and back into the plasma and get through the cellular walls. When it's already in the plasma, it just floats through into the cellular walls and into the rest of the tissue where it can really go to work and fix things, since it's a natural anti-inflammatory, detoxifier, immune booster, stem cell producer, it just does so much stuff for the body. We just normally use everything we breathe on a normal daily basis. Our body uses mostly just the function. So we don't have a lot of excess to do the magic work that it can do when we have the excess in our plasma, like in a hyperbaric chamber.
So you're getting something new, because a lot of times I think what Monica's on here, she goes, I really need to try this. And I don't know if this is Monica's issue, but a lot of people feel like they're going to get claustrophobic. And I thought I would too, and I wasn't at all. But you got something, you're getting a bigger unit coming in, aren't you? He's getting a big boy.
So I think we mentioned it last month that we've started working with a new manufacturer called Summit to the Sea. And they actually manufacture a larger soft shell chamber. So that behind me is my chamber in my house, and it's what's considered a soft shell chamber because it's not rigid like you see in a hospital. They're made out of very thick, lost the word. It's like a acrylic, basically, very thick acrylic, and they're rigid. They're firm. These ones are made out of like Zodiac material, so they're soft until they get pressurized. The company we're working with now makes one that's 60 inches around and 8.5 feet long, so that folks in wheelchairs we can just push them right in there or back them in, and we don't have to lift them out of their chair and get them all uncomfortable on a mat, and try to get them all comfortable in the chamber. They're already comfortable in their wheelchair. We just wheel them right in. And then if we're treating somebody like you and me that are ambulatory and aren't in a wheelchair, we'll have a zero gravity chair in there, one of the ones you like set up out in your lawn in the summertime, so folks can just kick back, zero gravity, read, watch a movie, do whatever they are want to do for that hour, maybe even just take a nap.
So Matt, so somebody like my brother-in-law is confined to a wheelchair, and but he and like Kathy could go in with him and stay in there. So he had somebody in there with him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're going to do that. I mean, Chip would love that. And he's got so many ailments from having CP. Kathy Hawkins wants to know, isn't this expensive? Well, Kathy, have we got a deal for you? Matt, take it away. Tell them about the love package.
So Kathy, in the hospital, it is super expensive in the hospital because you can only get seen at the hospital for things that are covered on insurance. If you're paying out of pocket, it can be close to $1,000 for an hour treatment. We only charge $45 for your first hour, and then we get you a coupon to get 2 more right away for $109. Then after that, if you do buy them one at a time at time of service, they're $110. But we have packages and stuff. Most of our clients pay between like $60 and $90 a session. For Valentine's Day, we are helping folks find that special gift of health for folks that are just having trouble this year, especially, you can't go to restaurants right now in Lane County. You're very limited on things and you can get your special someone. So get them the gift of health. We're doing what we're calling our BOGO special for Valentine's Day. You can buy one treatment and get a second one at half price. That's for hyperbarics. We also do massage, so it's also on the massage side as well.
So we got a guy who says, I do, or maybe that's not, I think it might be Artero.
Oh.
You have to say your name for me. That's an awesome name. But they do buddy dives. So you can do that too, because you have bigger chambers, so you can do buddy dives with other people.
Yeah, and that chamber behind me is 33.5 inches across and 7.5 feet long. 2 grown adults can fit in there, so we do absolutely do what we call buddy diving. Normally, if it's not like a parent and child situation, if it's 2 grown adults, you each have to go independently, just so you each know what to expect when you are in there together, and then you can go in together. Now, if it's an adult or teenage child with special needs, we do make the exception where if they need the parent with them, they can absolutely do that. And that's what's going to be really cool about having this new larger chambers. It'll be easier for us to do those special situations like that.
And so this is a Valentine's Day package. It's a love package, but there's no love in the chamber. You can cuddle.
It's a gift.
We draw lines here at New Leaf Hyperbaric Chambers. If you rent one, if you buy one, you can do what you want. So Matt, what is it besides that? What is it good for? Because people really, they always are asking questions about what this works for. But I mean, some of the things that you see the most, I know we mentioned cancer treatment, but what other kind of ailments?
It's a lot of studies have shown that it helps with over 80 different conditions, everything from like ADD and autism to post-strokes and wound healing. The folks we see the most are chronic pain sufferers, fibromyalgia type stuff. We're starting to see more and more Lyme patients, folks that have been out in the woods and got bit by a tick. Lyme disease, it really has shown to help with that. Not just the chronic pain, but it pushes the little spidochetes, the little things that the Lyme puts in you that cause all the problems, closer to the edge of the cell. And then if they are taking the antibiotics, it helps them work better. Plus, those little spidochetes and oxygen don't get along. So if they get out far enough, then oxygen will kill them off. They can actually go through a Herc sting process. And when they do that, it makes them not feel really good and kind of sick. So they'll have to take a break, work through that, and then come back and start doing more treatments again.
So
Chronic.
You're the Lyme disease terminator.
We've had a couple folks buy chambers and rent them for that specific thing as well.
What about diabetes? Brian's
It
asking.
does help. It does help with the circulation issue for diabetes, and kind of helps can level out your blood sugar a bit. A lot of it all depends on type 1, type 2, and all that fun stuff. But definitely, yes, the chronic pain there, Monica, as well as folks that have been in a motor vehicle accident. We see a lot of motor vehicle folks that have had post-concussion syndrome, and they just get that brain fog. They're having word recall problems. They just can't form sentences. Just doing their normal day-to-day stuff is a struggle after the motor vehicle accident. We start seeing a turnaround in, 3 to 7 treatments really quick. And most folks are coming in 2 to 3 times a week when they're doing that. Not to mention if they get referred to us by a doctor, chiropractor, naturopath, we can bill their car insurance for that as well, because the PIP coverage does cover that type of stuff.
So insurance covers some of it for some people, right?
Car insurance will pay for like motor vehicle stuff. I have done some good, or I've had some good luck with workers' comp on a couple things. We're seeing post-COVID recovery folks that have the long hauler issue where they're having trouble breathing after having COVID.
So the other thing you were talking about because what people need to look into too with any kind of health insurance is an HSA, get a health savings account, because you can get your doctor to say, that's what we can do. We can get our doctor to tell us we need this for whatever that chronic illness is or pain. And then you can take that right out of your, and it's just a super easy way to do it. I have the worst insurance. So we have an HSA and we just dump money into that every month like crazy. And it's the smartest thing I ever did. Some lady named KL told me about that.
Right.
We kind of both know her, don't we? That troublemaker.
Yes. HSA and FSA, the flex spending accounts also. We use them both. And you just get a medical necessity form filled out from your doc, and it makes it really simple on your end. We had, most of the time, I think we've only had one person that actually ever contacted us that said he needed a medical necessity form. And then our doc wrote it for him.
So what about like athletic injuries and stuff like that? And tell him while I'm bringing that up, would you talk a little bit also about the infrared treatment that you guys do? And you can do it this is the best part, you guys. You can do it at the same time. You get in the tank, you're sleeping, and then you have infrared treatment going on whatever part of your body. And that, I throw that now to Matt.
Perfect. Yeah. So over 1,000 professional athletes use those same chambers right there to help them recover when they're working out really hard, or if they have an injury. Probably a lot of folks on here maybe know the name of a gentleman named LeBron James.
He must have that 8-footer.
Nope, he has one of those exact. Actually, it's not even his. It's his personal trainer has one of those exact chambers right there, one of those Vitarises, and he fits in it because it's 7.5 feet when it's inflated. So he uses it quite. I used to tell folks he uses it to keep up with all the youngsters in the NBA because he's the oldest NBA man right now. So so yes, professional athletes, sports injuries definitely really, really good, especially young children or young boys, young girls that are playing tackle football and they get their bell rung. Definitely should come in and get that brain fixed. With the infrared that you mentioned, we do have a special head cap that goes right on the head that helps with getting the more blood flow to the brain while you're in the chamber, because red and infrared light therapy not only helps with inflammation, but it helps with vasodilation, which means the blood vessels where the red light is are bigger than anywhere else in your body. So we're flooding that area specifically with even more of that super oxygenated blood.
So when I broke my wrist, I went in and Matt put the infrared right on my wrist and just wrapped it around, and I just laid in there with the oxygen, and it felt so much better. Hey, Matthew, not another Matt Kendall.
Oh, yes.
Has been using it.
Yes. Yep.
So how did you find this? How did you stumble upon the world of hyperbarics? Because this is like, of course you had to bring something new and different and weird to Eugene, right? And it worked.
Right. Well, that's exactly why I did it. I was actually good Lord, it's been almost 8-9 years now. I had a 2-level fusion done to my neck when I was working in the ER and I was off work. But like we were talking about earlier, a big workout nut, and that's all because I met Tony Horton, did all that P90X stuff 11 years ago when I used to weigh 260 pounds. And I was working as a ER tech, doing beach body coaching stuff on the side because I had lost like 90 pounds at that time. But I had a neck issue, so I had to have surgery. And due to the beach body stuff, some folks I had met were doing a seminar up in Tacoma, Washington, teaching people how to eat right, kind of change their mind thoughts on food and stuff like that, which was a separate company from Beachbody. And they had local vendors there. And one of them was New Leaf Hyperbarics of Tacoma. And they came on stage, did their presentation, and I was just blown away and couldn't figure out why this wasn't already in Eugene, because it's a perfect fit for Eugene. And so on the drive home, me and my mom just talked about it. And 2 months later, I called up the owner. His name's Chad. And asked him how we could do it down here. And we went from me just being a investor to helping them franchise the concept. And so we are the first of a franchise with New Leaf.
Michelle's on here. She says Michelle.
Oh, Michelle, I actually almost called you as I drove by your house today.
So Michelle,
she's in Myrtle Point.
Oh, so how does she? Can you talk about Michelle's? Is Michelle okay with that?
Probably. Michelle, you want to type in that you're okay with that?
Michelle, tell
I'm sure she is. Michelle came to see us right before COVID hit, actually. She had some cancer and was having neuropathy and stuff in half her body, paralysis almost, chronic pain, on all kinds of pain meds. Started doing treatments, and then we closed. She's one of the clients that called me in tears saying she had to get in. And so I went and opened the clinic to see her. And she came in walking with a cane, just not doing well. Did a couple treatments, came in without the cane the next time. A couple weeks later, she drove herself to the clinic. And then she purchased, I got a rental, one of my smaller ones, the 27-inch ones of that style and she ended up purchasing one for her home. Wow. And one of the last times, if you look at her Facebook page and stuff, she's posted on our page about how she's now off most of her pain meds, and she runs a farm too now. It's she posts pictures all the time of all the stuff she cans and stuff now, so it's pretty cool.
So that's what's your why? Why do you do what you do, man?
Many years ago, when I was in high school, maybe middle school, my grandma had, not necessarily a heart attack, but an issue in our home when she was staying there with us. And that kind of left a little something deep in me that I didn't realize at the time. But then when I moved to Harrisburg, where I live, the fire department kind of started doing things. And I started volunteering with the fire department, and I fell in love with helping people. And so working at the hospital just solidified that even more. And then when I saw that I could help people in a different way without crazy medications and showing people that they could just have a healthier way of life by just taking an hour nap in a super cool pressurized chamber and breathe oxygen and just come out feeling better. And if you do it religiously, regularly, it can change your life just so much. Like we talked about, my wife, she went from stage 4 to full remission by just doing treatments regularly for a year and a half. And she has a tumor in her brainstem. They can't remove it because it's all entwined. It's not, normally you think of a tumor, it looks like this. And then they go in, they cut around it and they pull it out. Hers is entwined in her brainstem, kind of like her brainstem is rebar, the tumor is concrete. So they can't go in and
this is who, Michelle?
No, my wife.
Oh, your wife, yeah. Cece.
Yeah.
So,
Michelle's was taken out.
So do you think that after doing this, because you've been kind of with all kinds of different, with beach body treatment, that kind of stuff, do you think that we rely too much on medical stuff and drugs? And because there's so many alternatives out there that I'm learning about, from acupuncture to massage to I mean, all kinds of things that even my physical therapy for my wrist, it was amazing. I mean, it taught me things about what things I've been doing wrong for 61 years, and it's like, I think we trust too much. And I'm not saying doctors aren't trustworthy, but we trust too much in medical and science rather than the science of the body and how it is made to heal itself. But you're just giving it oxygen, which is, you're just pumping it full of a bunch of oxygen.
Yeah, I think it's almost a double-edged sword in that where we've been, the way, the era we came up in, they were just learning about pharmacology more and more and how great it was. And we're all like instant gratification folks. So we want to be able to take a pill and just be better.
Right.
When we can eat correctly, exercise, get massages, get acupuncture, take hyperbaric naps, and our body can heal itself as long as we keep it in the proper homeostasis. Getting out of homeostasis, you start, bodies just do things they don't, For example, if you eat good food out of your garden, you stay pretty slim and trim. You eat McDonald's every day, you're just going to.
Right.
So.
And don't you think it's something for me that's what COVID, the reaction to COVID has really taught me is how quick we are to get, and I'm not thinking being afraid is fine, but I'm thinking, and I hear so much, and I think wearing the mask and all that, I'm not being against that. I'm just saying, but we've heard so much about, here's these sticks, socially distance, wear your mask, and wash your hands, all good advice. But I'm not hearing a whole lot about, what are you eating? Because most of the people who are dying with COVID have underlying medical conditions, diabetes, all these different conditions. And then I see the lines at the fast food place, half a mile down the street, and I'm going, this is not, you'll put on your mask, but you're still eating shit. You know what I mean? And I think maybe we're learning that we really can have more control over our bodies and our health than we thought we could. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I was 39 and my doctor told me I should take an aspirin every day because I had a little chest pain, that's what really made me go, okay, I'm doing things completely wrong. I need to really change what I'm doing. And I've learned more and more about preventive care than post care, if you will. Don't wait for the heart attack to happen. Don't wait for the stroke to happen. Don't wait for the diabetes to start. We for example, had a big eye-opening thing one day while talking with my massage therapist. We were talking about cars, and I'm like, yeah, we take our car in every 3 months and get its oil changed. We take it in once a year to get it checked up and change the spark plugs and all that fun stuff. But we don't do that for the vehicle that we're in our whole life and can't trade in and get a new one. You get this one. You don't get to trade it in for a new one.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting point, Matt. So we take better care of our hot rod or our car than we do the body that we were given by our creator. And you only get one. I can't change this one in when things go bad. And you can't just, maybe we're spoiled, Matt, because now they can replace your heart, or they can replace, but still, it's not the same life. You're getting, it's like when you get a car and then you go get the shitty parts that are already used. You know what I mean?
Right. You go to the pick and pull.
I changed everything about my life, says Michelle. The doctors told me my tumor would come back within 5 to 7 years, and it's been 14. That's so awesome. So you changed, Michelle, all of a sudden you were kind of proud. And maybe that's what it is too, is we need to have more pride. And I don't mean vanity, but I mean pride in the vehicle that we've been given, and treat it with respect, And I think I learned that a little bit with cancer. I always have worked out and eaten pretty healthy, but there's stuff that just came out of my diet. A lot of dairy products came out of my diet, not cheese. I'm sorry. If God comes to me and says, no more cheese, it's like, I'm done.
Yep.
But you make choices like that too. And I find too, Matt, don't you, that people, It's like, I remember when I used to work in the newsroom, they'd get these shitty cakes from Albertsons. And then well, I guess I shouldn't mention a name, but they'd get cakes from a grocery store, and then they'd all sit there and eat them, and I would never have them. And people would go, "Why don't you eat it?" And I said, "Because there's Crisco in the frosting and processed sugar in this." I said, "I can go home and have a chocolate chip cookie that my wife makes with fresh oatmeal, and I know exactly what's in that cookie." And that right there, I don't know what's in there. And I don't want that in my body. And people used to make fun of me, but it's like, and I'm not anal about it, but it's like, it's important. What you put in is what comes out. It's the same with your head. You know, what we put in our head is the same thing that's coming out.
Yeah, back to the car analogy, if you have a Yugo or, just, an old car that you bought secondhand, you might put regular gas in it, but if you had a Ferrari or BMW or something like that, wouldn't you want to put premium fuel in it?
Right. I'm enjoying that. This is that car thing that sits right with me, because look at all the people we know who just, you get a scratch in your car and it's like the end of the world. But you're putting garbage in your food and scratching up the interior of your body, and you're not even thinking about it because you can't see it. And we really, honestly, I think, and especially in America, we take our bodies for granted. We really do. We don't I don't want to say worship it, but we don't make it a priority in how we treat things. So hyperbarics is another piece of the puzzle that can help everybody, but especially people like Michelle, who, and if Michelle, I don't know if you missed her comment there too. She said everything they eat, including meat and vegetables, they raise. Yep. So, but
one thing I missed is she used to bring us eggs when she would come to the clinic. So.
Oh, fresh eggs.
Yeah, she would bring eggs to us.
My neighbor raises chickens and stuff. And so sometimes I come up with excuses like, oh, we forgot to get eggs. And then I go get fresh eggs and stuff. And there is nothing like an egg out of a chicken's butt. I mean, a fresh one like that.
Directly. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They're so good. Yeah. Well, Matt, thank you. So again, you guys, the special is for, and that's up until when? Oh, is that the month?
We'll run it through the 16th at least.
Okay.
Because Valentine's Day is the 14th. It's been running for a week or so. Folks are calling in and getting it, but it's the gift of health. Buy one treatment, get one half off, whether that's hyperbarics or the massage. And lights are complimentary in the chamber. So all you do is just ask for that when you come in. But remember, if you're new to us, it's only $45 for your first one anyway, and then you can do all the specials and get a bunch built up to come check it all out and get a really good feel for it. We always recommend doing your first 3 within a week just to really detox, ramp the oxygen, get the inflammation down, and get you feeling good.
So Matt, you've also made me understand why I only drink good beer, because I only put premium in my body. No Budweiser.
Exactly.
All right, buddy.
That was good. That was good beer before.
Yeah, but now we've learned that our body really craves microbrew and local, something about local. So it's good.
Absolutely.
All right, Matthew, thank you again. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome, buddy.
Have a good night.
All right, you guys. So there you go. New Leaf Hyperbaric and Wellness Center. They're located in one of the Darth Vader buildings over there. The really cool black buildings by Valley River Center. You get to go over there and get in the Darth Vader building. And Matt has several different of the tanks, and they also do massage. And again, ask for the ultralight treatment because it is really, really awesome. So again, it's $45 your first time ever, and then you can buy a package deal that Matt will show you about. But for that Valentine special, it's buy one regular price, you get the other one half price off. It's a hell of a deal. And that's on massage. You can get a massage in one half off, or you can get a hyperbaric treatment and the other one half off. And that's going through the 16th. So if you tell you what, if you've got someone in your life that you love and you want to give them something for Valentine's Day, they probably don't need the chocolate. And they probably, get them a bottle of champagne for afterwards, but get something like Argyle or something good. Because remember, Matt told us we have to have good things we put in our body. Matt's going to be my new guru. I'm going to start my car up here, my rig, my 1959 rig that I drive my body. and go home and put something good in it. So have a good night. You guys share this on your page because you never know who might be there who's going through fibromyalgia or something like that, and they're not talking about it. And it's something that they might need this information to really help them. And just by putting it on their page or putting it on your page and they see it on your feed, it might spark something inside that says, maybe I got to go try that. So you might actually be helping somebody and not even know it. All right. I'm Rick Dancer. This is Get Real with Rick Dancer, sponsored again by New Leaf Hyperbaric and Wellness Center, located by the Valley River Center. Have a great night, and we will see you. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow night, we will be joined by a local counselor. We're going to talk about depression and anxiety caused by the reaction to COVID and what we can do for our kids, for ourselves, for people around us. You can never get too much information like this. And so she's coming on tomorrow night to talk. And then on Friday, we will be live at the Blue Valley Bistro in Coburg. And Seth and Melissa always do something kind of crazy for Valentine's Day. So we'll see what they got cooked up for us. And then at 4 o'clock, we're going to be at the Emporium Makers and Artisan sale. They do this every weekend out in Veneta or Elmira, actually, at the Grange. And these are amazing items that local people are making, putting their heads together and putting some stuff out there. So we'll be there at 4 o'clock, and all weekend long for Valentine's, they're going to have some specials. So if you're looking for something kind of special that's local, that somebody made that you don't see at all the other makers fairs in town, it's not the usual stuff. This is a really great place to go. And they also have oh my God, the best pickled eggs you will ever find in your life, and jams and all kinds of little food items like that. So yeah, we'll show you how to check them out too. All right. Have a good night.